Hello and welcome to Talkin Jake. Myself, Jake Storielli, David Mendelson, as we talk about the wide world of sports, mostly some baseball. Cody Bellinger to the Yankees. That impacts us in a few ways. Cubs, and where are we going next? Also, it's a massive football weekend because the college football playoff starts. And if you haven't been tuning in, now's the time because they've got a full slate starting Friday night, the battle for Indiana, Notre Dame. That's a lot of fun. And then Saturday's a full slate. So we'll dive into that with my Limp Bizkit a little bit and NFL per usual. But first, let's start off with the news that happened at 4:44 yesterday. I'll tell you why I know that time. Cody Bellinger gets traded to the New York Yankees. Now, this wasn't the biggest surprise. I always do find it funny when something that's so rumored actually happens.
Literally, yesterday was the day I was like, you know what? It's been talked about so much. He's destined to be the guy that's the biggest. Like, how is he never a Yankee guy ever?
And it's kind of funny. I almost went the other way because we started being the big bad wolves on Talkin Yanks. I was like, trade for Cody Bellinger. They took Tucker. Like, you better give them nothing. We gave them Cody Poteet.
Cody for Cody.
Cody for Cody. And Cody Poteet's going to give you some nice innings next year. Great quadruple A guy. Maybe there's more in there. But the Yankees get Cody Bellinger, the former MVP. It's a couple moons ago at this point, 28 beans. But Cody Bellinger fits all their needs, outfield, first base, and lefty bat. His papa played for the Yankees. I somewhat famously in the John Boy media world, I wrote a paper on his dad, weirdly enough. I think like third grade. I wrote that Clay Bellinger was my favorite athlete. So when I come across Cody, that'll be a weird one. And another Jakeism, if people remember, I was at one famous wedding last year. Cody Bellinger was at that wedding. Didn't really talk to him. Was scared and nervous because there were so many rumors he was going to be a Yankee then.
Yeah.
And I was like, for me, this is kind of crossing enemy lines.
And it was like literally this time like peak rumor time.
I
remember you not wanting to bother him.
This is no joke. We're decently known in the baseball world now. I roll up to that wedding. I'm nervous. Trev bails. He was my insurance policy. Never going to be over it. Trev yucks with the guys. Here I am. Oh, okay. What's up? None of that. Although I, knew Jay Flair Glass now, I'll stop with all that stuff. Chris Archer talked my ear off the whole weekend, and I loved it. And so did I. It was a nice time. I should DM him. We roll up. We're in Tulum. Never been. Famous person's wedding. Never been. Cody Bellinger, this is no joke, and this is kind of a weird thing to reveal, but he's going to like the end result. Cody Bellinger was on the beach for over an hour. Not exaggerating, because I don't know where the time landed. Over the hour, working on his swing. Not like a bored guy at the beach, like, whoa. Like, he was standing, he was lining up his elbows. This is a good time to be on the YouTube, people. Make sure you're subscribed to the Talkin Jake channel. But he was, working on his path. He was doing the fake little swings. And I'm laughing because Cody Bellinger's reputation up until this point was like Stoner Cody. Like Stoner Cody, is he going to be back? Like he hurt his shoulder. That he had a nice really good year with the White Sox, the Cubs. And I don't know. I think sometimes anyone that makes it to the major league level has a certain level of work ethic. Anyone that wins an MVP. Like, I'll ask you that. Like, Cody Bellinger in his own right is a freak. He won an MVP at the major league level. He's very fast for a man his size. He has pretty good pop for a guy his size. He's like a 5-tool guy. Like, in a way, that's a freak. But, like, compared to the other freaks in MLB, like, Cody Bellinger doesn't give you like Ellie De La Cruz speed. He doesn't give you Judge's power. And again, all of those guys work extremely hard. That I just think it's funny. We have this image in our head, at least if you live online in the baseball community, of like Stoner Cody Bellinger, The Dodgers thing winds down. He goes to the Cubs, and he does well there. This guy, from everything I know, is a dog. I had reached out to my guy, Cole Tucker. He said Cody's super stoked. And it should be a good situation for him, man, depending how much they need to lean on him. And we'll get into that with the Yankees aspect. And I'm super interested to see. Booney did a press conference today where he said, if you heard a rumor that Cody Bellinger is a center fielder, that might be fake news. I think that's partially to leave their options open. They're still in the first base market. If an outfielder opens up, they could still use that, and Cody can go to first. Or if they don't believe in Dominguez,
if they said he's firmly not center field, and then that puts him in a position to either declare or explicitly not declare Dominguez the center fielder. I'm sure that's a conversation it's December.
Early opinion from me, I do think left field is a tougher position than center field. You need a different skill set to play center. You need to be able to cover ground in a hurry when you need to. Left field's tough, man. The ball comes off the bat weird. Again, my baseball experience limited. Loved playing center field. It was my favorite position to play. Left field, it wasn't as bad as the example I'll give in a minute, but whenever I played left field, I made a bunch of weird catches. It always felt like my glove was just at a weird position because the ball is moving multiple directions. It's going up, it's going down, it's going to the side. That changes the trajectory. A little physics here early, that I always landed in a weird position. The thing that I'm bringing up right now that I hope it brings a smile to your face and it's not like, what's this fool talking about? Whenever I covered second on a stolen base, I would catch it, put the tag on him, and I would fall on the runner. It was so ugly every time. I just knew it was coming. I'd try to be so quick with the tag, and then they would slide in. It was really bad. It was the opposite of Javi Baez's pretty sweep tag. It was me tackling the base runner. And then it was always like, whoa, is that mean? Was that intentional? And everyone's just like, no, the little chubby kid.
It is an accident, although it's a guarantee it will happen.
It happens, but it just happened every time. Anyways, Cody Bellinger comes in, and what I would do if I was the New York Yankees, because I think from here on out they're going to be looking for infield help, and they can get it at every position but shortstop. And they honestly, if they were another organization and Volpe to second was on the table, that would be on the table. They need two infielders. They have Anthony Volpe and Jazz Chisholm. Although Jazz Chisholm could play the outfield, but we're all ignoring that. I would put Cody Bellinger in left field. That guy has played a lot of Major League Baseball. He played left field when he was young. It's a huge left field at Yankee Stadium. I would try to lock that in as much as possible because, again, if he needs to shift back to center, Cody Bellinger could do that in a breeze. Jason Dominguez, we've seen him struggle with left field, and assuming that he's going to be a starting outfielder for them next year, which should be exciting. As of right now, he's 21 years old.
Yes.
He's going to be 22 for opening day. That's fine. But as of today, he's 21 years old. He played at the major league level. Sure, he looked bad on some pop flies. There's going to be growing pains, but he's shown power. He's shown speed, switch hitting.
And at Max Fried's press conference today, they asked Brian Cashman about Dominguez, and he did say, I would like Dominguez to get his shot here.
Right.
So,
right.
As much as the Yankees will say it, it sounds like the lean, if nothing falls into their laps, is Dominguez gets some run to start this year and gets a real chance.
And it would just be the question of left field or center field, and the other side of the argument would be, hey, if we believe in Dominguez and we're maybe iffy on him being a great center fielder, that he could be a great left fielder if he figures it out, that if Jason Dominguez is a 5 or 6 year plan, then yeah, put him in left field and let's figure it out. Cody Bellinger, who's going to be here for 1 or 2 years, I would put him in left because you're going to get a high-level left field. You have Judge and right. You have a high-level right field. That basically you're telling Jason Dominguez, hey, you've got good insurance on the wings.
100%.
Let's play some center here. Left field, you're a little bit on your own. So we'll see. It sounds like the Yankees aren't going to do that. And again, there's an argument for Dominguez, figure it out, and you're going to be there for the next 5. And I would get that. but there would be growing pains as you go. But still, the Yankees might be able to play a little defense next year, and we'll see their next moves. And, hey, maybe this all gets turned on their head if they find the outfielder to trade for, and Cody can go to first. So he was the missing piece for them defensively and being a lefty in a lineup. It was funny. I was listening to Jom and Beebs doing the breaking episode at 4:44 because I was at the Rockettes, which, it's the radio show Holiday Spectacular, I believe is the name of the show, but everyone's familiar with the Rockettes. If you work on the Rockettes or if you're a part of it, you might want to skip the next minute. What was that? It was the weirdest mix. Each scene felt disconnected from the last, and then we ended on a religious note, and there's some animals in there. And a lot of the routines are very, old. Like, they did a toy soldier routine that I think they're like, oh, yeah, they've done this for 1 billion years.
It's a long-running show.
It's one of the longest-running. I guess here's where I got hurt. It's one of the longest-running shows in the world. Right? And, one of the top famous shows in the world. Like the Rockettes and Radio City Music Hall.
To a degree, you say Rockettes, everyone knows at least a little what you're talking about.
You get introduced to that at some time in our society. And yeah, man, there was a couple good dances, and there was a little bit of singing, but none of that was too spectacular. And they'd do some, lights on the wall and stuff. It's a show for kids, so I think I should get out in front of that and say that. Courtney, who works here, she brought her kids, and she said her kids loved it. So, again, maybe I just came in expecting the wrong thing. I do think their perfect Venn diagram of what they're hitting is kids, people in holiday spirit, people that want to see young women dance a little bit. If I'm just being honest. There was one kooky segment where they basically had a bunch of, teddy bear people dancing that I was like, yes, this is
just
silly.
Something.
This is something. So I don't know. If you're going to go see it, knock yourself out. I was running numbers on it financially after. I was like, are they losing money? Dude, there was 100 people involved in the show. I was like, how are we paying all these people? Did some numbers. Radio City Music Hall holds 600 people. If you're getting at least 6,000 people, if you're getting $100 out of each person, that's is that 600,000 or 60,000?
60,000.
Okay, in my head we got up to
600.
I think it's 600.
6,000 times 100.
600,000, right? So I was like, oh shit! If they do 3 shows a day, you can pay everyone good. And I don't think they pay everyone good. Nobody cares. Cody Bellinger is a Yankee. And yeah, the fun topic in the office is how are they going to wrap this thing up? Nice little Christmas reference, people. Because they have 2 infield needs. They're going to get a first baseman. Ben Rice was a nice splash, but there's Paul Goldschmidt rumors. I think Hubs from Barstool was hot on the streets this offseason so far. I think he tweeted out a Goldschmidt gif, which was making people think that. And
after he did a similar move with Belli shortly before that, so I was like, ooh.
Some smoke and some fire, and Goldschmidt would be a fit because you could give him the starting gig and let Ben Rice lean into it or Oswaldo. Paul Goldschmidt had a really strong second half last year. He mashed lefties. This guy's got an MVP in the bag. To ring chase with the Yankees for a year, it's a good stopgap option. And I think it would allow Ben Rice an opportunity to get 2 starts a week or if they want to keep him in the minors and get Paul Goldschmidt off his feet a little bit. He played every day last year for the Birds, getting up there in father time. And then you need a second baseman or a third baseman. I would still want to ensure the lineup just a little more because you lost Juan Soto. Your second, Stanton hit 27 regular season homers last year. And you're going to have to pencil him in for an injury at some point.
There's going to be 3 weeks a month. You just have to account for that.
He's going to have one slump that's tough and one injury. He's going to miss 4 weeks minimum. That's like best case for Stanton. Jazz Chisholm, 24-40 last year. Keep seeing that stat line, and I'm like, geez. So, hey, maybe Jazz steps up and he can become the 30-homer guy, and Jazz, Judge, and Stanton. Maybe Cody ticks up being at Yankee Stadium, and maybe I've got a little bit of Yankees blinders on. If we're going to stretch this lineup and make it longer, you're not going to have the Soto and Judge production you had. Just the bottom of their lineup right now, Austin Wells, who's coming off a nice campaign, year-end numbers, 13 homers and 414 at-bats. He's a catcher. Even if he ticks up solid, again, Austin Wells was strong and he really helped out their season, but where does that land? Jason Dominguez, we just mentioned, rookie that we're not sure can catch fly balls. Either way, he should be a rookie. All right. And right now is Oswaldo and Ben Rice at first. The Yankees are starting to run out of money unless they dump Marcus Stroman, which they should be able to, and it shouldn't be too dumpy with the prices starting pitchers are getting. That I have them probably getting 2 hitters in the 10 million range. Yandy Diaz makes that. Brandon Lau makes that. Paul Goldschmidt as a free agent should be in that lane. That the Yankees,
Santana in that range.
The Yankees should have an extended lineup. You'd really like another lefty bat with pop because you just forget how much Judge covers for a team. And even Stanton, like the fact that he's become a regular season afterthought, like Stanton's numbers with runners in scoring position this year were fantastic, and then he did it in the postseason again. So the Yankees, let's see their final moves. Or will they even dip into like the Luis Heel? Like he was rumored for the Kyle Tucker trade, which would have been 1 year. Where else are they going to go? The Chicago Cubbies. I love you, Chicago. I've been really tough on your team. I do think it is funny that, like, the Cubs traded Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger was in the middle of their lineup. Like, I might as well get these numbers for everyone. 2024 game logs. Batting order position. Second twice. He hit third or fourth every other game. Cody Bellinger hit second, third, or fourth every game for the Chicago Cubs. That's good.
Playing good defense at 3 different spots for them regularly.
So, like, the Cubs are going to miss that, and I do think it's funny that everyone's just like, okay. The big what's next is for the Cubs. Like, the Yankees are going to get their business done. They're going to bank on 1 or 2 young guys. They'll have a veteran or someone come in. Maybe they have the nuclear trade that no one's looking at. If they can... You know, we've all been talking about dumping Marcus Stroman. If they could somehow gracefully trade DJ, although he's got a no-trade clause, the Yankees are going to do something. They're the Yankees. The East is wide open. Judge and Cole are peak of their powers and getting older. The Chicago Cubs, you traded for Kyle Tucker. Some assets. You traded out Cody Bellinger, which net there, like Kyle Tucker is better, and you upgraded. But is that enough to bring the Cubs from the 83 and 79 Cubs wins like last year? You added Matthew Boyd. 25 mil, 22 and a half came off the Cubs books. What are they going to do? Currently, the bottom of their lineup is listed Horner, who is in trade rumors, but if he stays, that's fine. Pete Crow Armstrong, who I think they want to let him go. He actually had some really nice moments next year, and he plays an electric outfield. Hap, Kyle Tucker, and PCA. Whew.
They're going to go get it.
It's going to be fun. So the Cubs have a formula here where they can really play defense and pitch a little bit between Shota, Steele, my guy Tyone, Matthew Boyd, Javier Assad. Their bullpen, Porter Hodge, is kind of breaking out. We'll see if he's the dude for them. And then they've been good at finding some guys. Trevor on Talkin Baseball was daydreaming that they go get high-leverage relievers with that Cody Bellinger money. Go get you a Tanner Scott to close the game. Go get an Estevez, something like that.
That is presently, like, the rumors that are out there is they're looking for a bullpen ad. Is at that high a level or price point? I don't know.
I'm interested to see the bottom of their lineup: Horner, Pete Crow Armstrong, Matt Shaw, and Miguel Amaya. I'm pretty into lineup depth. And hey, let's see what Horner and PCA are. But you know you're not going to get a ton of pop, and they play great defense, so I'm not knocking them as ball players. They're great ball players to have in a team, but that lineup can get thin quick. Like Dansby's offensive profile last year wasn't great, and he's the guy above them. It's Michael Busch above him, which, hey, maybe he takes a sophomore step up. If he takes a step back, you're going to be looking for Cody Bellinger. So I'm interested to see. They just sent out $22.5 million with Cody Bellinger. They have holes on this team, whether they want to go pitching offensively, third base. Matt Shaw is listed there, and he was supposed to be the Horner replacement if they were going to replace him. Could they be a Bregman team? I was daydreaming if the Arenado dump, like they just dumped Belli, could you get the Cardinals to eat Arenado's money? But that's the Cardinals and the Cubs. That doesn't really...
That's a whole thing.
It would be sick. Like I want the Cubs to find an identity because I mentioned the outfield, which is pretty awesome right now. Horner, Swanson up the middle. If you get a third baseman, whether it's Bregman, whether it's Arenado, someone else that plays defense, like you have a firm team identity. We play defense. We have enough offense.
Yeah.
And we can pitch. So, like, I'm excited for the Cubbies, but they also need to make that next move. I know the Yankees are going to make moves. They're the Yankees. Where are the Cubbies going to go? And the other thing that we're starting to get to not my favorite part of the offseason, but one of my favorite new things to do is towards the end of the offseason is do a little Who Would You Rather, which I think we've played here and we've played on Talkin Baseball before. For the Cubbies, you signed Matthew Boyd. Okay. I think it's $14.5 million. Matthew Boyd has some upside there. We've talked about it. Hasn't pitched innings, but when he's pitched, he's been pretty solid. Depending where their next signing is, and the example I'll use is your Baltimore Orioles, who brought on my new favorite pitcher, Sugano.
Mm-hmm.
Exact same birthday. 10/11/89. Similar lives for me and Sugano. I keep saying Sugano. What's that about? Is it Sugano? It should be, right?
Should be. I think Japanese names are typically phonetically spelled.
Sugano.
They're usually as served to you.
BBD. The Orioles have signed 2 guys this offseason.
Sugano.
And outfielder. Boston.
Tyler O'Neill. And Gary Sanchez.
And Gary. But here's the interesting game when we get to the end of the offseason. Sugano, who I like, 1 year, 13, sure. Like, look what Shota just did.
Take a chance.
His fastball might not play at the major league level. He was electric. If these guys get outs across the big pond, they're probably going to get outs here. Almost every guy has hit where we thought. Like Fuji, the guy with the A's that got traded to Baltimore, everyone was kind of like, he's not good. Like he maybe figures it out in the bullpen because he throws hard.
If you can get him and teach him.
He's one of the most erratic pitchers I've ever seen on an MLB field. But these other pitchers who have been like, oh, Shota might be a 4-5. Like he's looked pretty good. Kodai Senga was supposed to be in the same boat. He's looked really good. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was thought to be the guy, and he kind of was. Roki. Can't wait for that part of the offseason. It's going to sting wherever it lands.
Yanks have a meeting.
Let's go. Tyler O'Neill and Sugano for, I think they're making $28 million, something like that. Or would you rather have Max Fried if you're Baltimore? If you're the Cubs, that's going to be the next step for you. Because if they go, I don't want to say bargain binning, but let's say if they go for, whatever version they add. Matthew Boyd was $14.5 million. So let's even say it was Paul Goldschmidt, he doesn't fit their team, but let's say
first base probably isn't what they're
Michael Busch can go play third. He learned this offseason. Sick. Paul Goldschmidt for $11 million. Goldie and Matthew Boyd gets you a $26 million player. Should you have just gotten Bregman? So I don't know. Again, you have to build out a team. You have to build out a roster. It's all fluid. Cubs can fully win me over if they get Corbin Burns, which the Cubs front office might laugh at that, but that would be such a sick landing spot. And then you can have a thin bottom of the lineup because you got a hell of a rotation. You might be able to shut them down on the back end. I need to stop daydreaming of it because it's not going to happen. But how are the Cubbies going to do this? Because, man, Cubs fans are feeling a little spicy. Kyle Tucker's great. I'm about it. But you just emptied a lot of money. What are you going to do with it in 1 year of Kyle Tucker? Kyle Tucker's not promised to the Cubs for longer than that. They haven't shown they're willing to give out a Kyle Tucker-esque contract. So if you got Kyle Tucker for 1 year, you better put a couple more chips on the table, Cubbies. And hey, I've liked their moves this offseason, so I don't want to be tough on them yet because it's still early and they can continue to go. I mentioned on the way through, and again, maybe Orioles fans are taking this differently because I did my Tyler O'Neill and Sugano versus Max Fried game, and I think people would pick Fried, but they might not come July if Sugano's twirling the pill well and Tyler O'Neill's got an OPS in the 9s. Yeah, I mean, for me, I was shocked to see the price tag. I know Sugano is 35. He's never pitched at the MLB level. I was fun at MLB Network. I think they compared him to Kuroda, which feels just a little lazy. I get it. I very much get it. But a player coming over older, pitched overseas, but he's won all the awards. Like, he's won every accolade. He's won MVP. He's won Cy Young. That, I don't know, it feels like every guy, I guess that's what we need to get research and development on. For the guys that have won, like, Cy Young and MVP over there, has anyone come over and just been buns?
That, like, we're fully
that was, like,
good
the guy.
there.
I don't know. We'll get,
maybe some of the early ones.
Right, but I mean, recently, it feels like the hit rate.
We have videos now.
Might be a good Dalton. We have video, and we have StatCast. That might be a good Dalton research project. Let's see what the Orioles do. But for me, Sugano, the upside is so high.
Yeah, all things considered, it's a pretty low risk swing
Like
that I do like for them.
Worst case, if it doesn't work out or he's old, he's got a 5 ERA. Okay, you could say that for any other starting pitcher. Even if it's deception for a year, that would be awesome. He could get by. Like, this guy can
Whatever
pitch.
Works.
This guy has gotten professional hitters out for years.
This is also a guy who had opportunities much earlier in his life to come. He's coming over now, not for the money. He took a 1 year, $13 million deal. Like, he wants the competition. He wants to try to compete.
Do it.
And go for winning. And
the rumor was the Orioles call won him over. He said they talked ball and he was about it. So who knows? Again, this could be laughable content. If Sugano comes out and just gets rocked, it's going to be like, I never liked that guy. But I do like it. I mean, after seeing Senga, who was supposed to be he's probably good. Seeing Imanaga, who people were I don't know if he's going to be good.
If anything, every guy's overperforming.
This guy's got more of a reputation, and maybe it's just not seeing them. I don't know. But again, for 1 year, 13, that's about, okay, BBD, we watch ball. Marcus Stroman's making $18 million next year.
I think 18.5.
Would you rather have Marcus Stroman, a very proven MLB pitcher? At this point, we think there's a little bit of a limited cap on it.
But a lock for
a lock
$130
cannot
innings.
Be that bad.
$130 league average innings is you will get that.
I think, and maybe this is dumb Yankee mind a little bit, where you'd rather have the upside, but I think I'd rather have Sugano. What if he's sick?
Yeah.
Again, that's not supposed to be a shot fired at Stroman. It's just more so, I guess the unknown actually plays a little bit for me here. Where I think in other times in baseball and sports, it does not.
For speaking on the Yankees specifically, there's years I remember definitely needing some sure thing, a lock to give you X.
Give me a major league player. Sometimes that is the answer, and maybe it is.
And the Orioles might be a team that does need that. But
maybe the the Cincinnati Reds would rather, hey, let's have Stroman give us 140 major league innings when Sugano could be nothing. So, okay. So maybe that example wasn't perfect there. Are the Pirates going to get hitters? They're starting to become an angry team for me.
Should do something.
They're starting to become an angry team for me. They added Spencer Horwitz and IKF at the deadline. So,
I do kind of like Horowitz.
hey, he had a couple good games.
Signed Max Kepler already.
Yeah, I did see, man, I forgot about Max Kepler, and someone tagged me in that, and I forgot how much the Yankees have fantasized over him for years. But yeah, go enjoy Pittsburgh. You're going to have a nice time there.
There is one bit of baseball news that happened since we've started this episode. And do what you want with this. You can throw it away immediately. Arenado blocked a trade to the Astros.
Blocked it?
Yes.
Wow. He likes St. Louis, huh?
Yeah. Like, you would think competitive team, no income tax.
Income tax. Is he not? Where's Arenado from? He's a California boy.
It's California. He has like that. Like, we know the 6 teams he said yes to. I'll go reconfirm those in a moment. And that's like Red Sox, Mets were on there. The surprise one was Angels, which is go home. Dodgers. And I'm obviously forgetting 2 teams. Astros weren't on it. They were trying to get on it. He vetoed it.
If I was a sick puppy, which I used to be, boy, would I be online drafting up Anthony Rendon to Houston trades. Just LA eating pretty much all the money, but he's from the area. Houston just no shot. Remember, he won the MVP down there for the Nats, and they were just like, they got Isaac Paredes, who maybe he plays first. Or I guess this is Arenado news, like, they tried to do this now?
Yeah, Feinstein just tweeted that he blocked a trade right now. And it was a known, when they tried to trade for Paredes at the deadline, it was a known their plan for him would have been first base then. So the thought is their plan for him is first base now, and he can play third.
You'd still think that. Interesting. Yeah, it very much seems like we're in trade season. The GMs came out of winter meetings and were like, okay.
The guys that were hungry for these free agents did it. And now if you missed,
we got who we wanted at our prices. Now we're going to be more willing to trade prospect capital to get what we need to not pay the other prices we heard of in the market. Yeah, still shocking. Alex Bregman's a free agent. Burns is starting to, this is dumb. Burns is starting to enter a little bit of a weird territory for me because I could see teams looking at Max Fried and wanting him more. The Yankees said that. Maybe I've got Yankee blinders on, but there's something about a lefty that just feels like that stands the test of time, and Corbin Burns has some slightly declining numbers over the past few years, I believe, between his K rate, some of the metrics that teams really care about, that if he came in with the mindset gung-ho, I'm going to get the best contract offer, which he has a right to the throne there, that could enter him into the weird part of free agency. It's December 18th. If Corbin Burns signs by January 30th, there's nothing weird about it.
That's in line with a lot of
we would have a lot
guys.
of fodder, but that would be a normal free agency. Let's see, man. Of the free agents that have yet to drop, I don't know what's next. It seems weird that Bregman and Walker had so much smoke. Alonso never really had the smoke that you wonder, will that pick up? Teoscar seems like a no-brainer fit for teams, but maybe that had him up the year. Maybe he went from 3 to 4 years to sign him, and everyone's nervous about that. I'm not sure where the next free agent is going to be. I would assume maybe the Sean Manaea.
Yeah.
Like teams really like him, that someone just gives his demand, and one team is finally like, yes, Sean Manaea.
Fine, 4 for 100, you got it.
Let's do it. Let's cook. Let's get in the lab. Let's go because we want you. Otherwise, you might see free agency slow up a little bit, and teams keep exploring the trade market. Is Dylan Cease on the table? Who can you get from the Rays? Who can you get from the A's? flip Jeffrey Springs for Stroman. Now we're talking. Then let's see where the offseason brings us next. Nolan Arenado turned down a trade to Houston. God, the Crawford boxes are like meant for his swing.
Yeah.
He's dead pull. Guy chasing like the Hall of Fame.
Like if he could get 2 more years where he can pepper 25 homers.
That's pretty wild.
It would do a lot for his case.
I
Wants
guess,
to win.
Sorry, Houston. Right, they win the division every year.
They're locked to be involved.
They pitch a lot. Might hit 30 there. Let's see where the beautiful baseball offseason brings us next. This has been a fun thing that I do on too many episodes, but I'll do it the Jakey 1 minute. Which teams are still going to do work? The Blue Jays, probably going to do something weird. Orioles need to do a little bit of work. Rays, weird. Red Sox, probably a little bit of work, right? Yeah, definitely. A lot of bit of work.
They need at least like a pitcher.
Yeah, okay. Yankees, a little bit of work. Guardians, stop. Royals, whatever. Tigers, maybe. Twins, no. Work the other way. Trev was pretty broken about the Sugano signing. He's like, how could the Twins not do that?
Not involved.
They're in a tight spot. Angels, I don't know. Astros, trying. Need to, yes. Athletics, kind of. Mariners, weirdly quiet. Let's see. Rangers, probably doing more work. At least not on the trade market. Nathaniel Lowe, he'd look good on some teams. We'll go west to east. Rockies, not at all. Padres, what are we doing? Giants, probably something. Dodgers, probably something. D-backs, curious. Don't know. Brewers, could be done. Could roll the team out there tomorrow, win the Central. Cardinals trying to dump stuff. Arenado, apparently. Cubs, just talked about it, need to do work. Pirates, probably need to. Don't believe they will. Reds, Braves, been a little quiet, huh? They're the Atlanta Braves. They got something cooking.
Lost Max Fried.
Mets need to do work. Fish don't exist. Nats were supposed to be, but maybe this market's too crazy, although they're still rumored in on all the first basemen. And those Phillies. Snakes in the grass, man. Snakes in the grass.
They technically don't gotta do something, but
Right.
they're gonna.
But they keep saying they're going to. Dombrowski says they're going to. Luis Robert, Bregman. I believe. Let's go to the football, and it's brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Today's episode sponsored by DraftKings. Grab your favorite team's jersey and some snacks and head to the couch for another Sunday of action-packed football and Saturday. And get closer to the action each Sunday with our partners at DraftKings. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's using code BAKERS. Stay in on the action. Use your $150 in bonus bets. DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. And if it's not available in your state yet, don't worry. It's coming. But they also have their daily fantasy that you can partake in for cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code BAKERS. Bet just $5 on any wager. Get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. BAKERS. Promo code BAKERS. DraftKings Sportsbook. All right. It's the weekend before the holidays. For some people, the holiday is kicking off. Saturday and Friday night, like I mentioned. Some good college football. I guess here's what you need to know if you're watching the game with Unc Joes, or whoever you may watch the games with this weekend, whether you're with the squad or family or whoever. Notre Dame versus Indiana, like I told you, the battle of Indiana. Indiana became one of our favorite stories of the season because Coach Sig, Kurt Signetti, he was the one that came out and said, Google me, I win. And that's what he's done at Indiana. They played a super soft schedule outside of Ohio State, and Ohio State beat them up pretty good. So no one's fully sure what to do with Indiana. I think they are well coached. I don't know if they have the big boys to compete. Notre Dame is a school that has the big boys to compete, and they have played really well. There's some questions about their schedule. Although they beat a pretty good Texas A&M team, a Louisville team. They routed Navy and Army, USC. So it's better than Indiana's. The only thing that happened is they lost to Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, who finished 7-5 in the MAC this year. 4-4 in conference. They finished 6th in the MAC. It was a really cool moment. It was at Notre Dame. The Northern Illinois coach was kind of a husky guy that was really enjoying the moment. A little double entendre there. Since then, Notre Dame's looked really good. Some people think their head coach is hot. Mostly sports-ish. I follow her, and she posts a lot of content about that. Riley Leonard, their quarterback, transfer from Duke. He gets after it. Fiscal. I would lean Notre Dame in that one, but that's going to be a proud game, man. Indiana's never had a shot at football pride in the state of Indiana, and this is kind of their moment. Notre Dame touchdown favorite. Curtis Rourke, the Indiana quarterback, pretty good. He's one of those old guys in college football. He's like 24. But I think the Domers, they've got the big bodies. Although Indiana had time to coach it up, like if they're in this late, I won't be surprised at all because I think Cignetti's a great coach. I think they have talent at the skills positions. I'm just worried about their big boys. And we'll see how Notre Dame can do with that. That brings us to Saturday. So that's 8 p.m. Friday. So if you got plans, there you go. Saturday, noon, SMU and Penn State. That's right. The Pony Express, Dallas, representing SMU. Man, they have a fun quarterback. Kevin Jennings. He plays his own brand of football. It's a little bit of street ball, but he is fun to watch, and he hits the go switch, and he goes. Penn State, this is one of their first tests if we are Penn State in a while. Kind of the joke with Penn State has been if there's a big game to win, they haven't gotten it in recent years. But they've handled their work the rest of the way. It's one of my favorite things to listen to my guy Ryan Russillo talk about. Not actually my guy. I just consume him as a fan. So misleading. Although he has Passan on to talk about baseball. So every now and then I do daydream about telling Passan, like, Passan, you got to hook this up for me. But I think I need to do that the next time Passan does something for us. Or we do something for Passan. So we'll see.
Next time he's like for sure grateful for something.
But yeah, I'd say once a month I think about telling. So during the playoffs, I think Passan was supposed to be on, but he couldn't. And so they had Adnan come on, Adnan Verk. And he was great. But Adnan opened it up and he goes, hey, Russillo, you're a pretty well thought out guy. You called me a day before this episode and asked me to come on. Who canceled? And Russillo was just like, it was Passan. So I don't know. I might try to angle my way in that way. Anyways, SMU, Penn State, both 11-2. Penn State's tight end, Tyler Warren. He won the award for best tight end in the country. He is a treat to watch. He will be playing on Sundays if you're into that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, this is SMU's opportunity. Like SMU had been missing, obviously after their program got canceled. But they are back. They have wins. Louisville, Pittsburgh. Their losses, 34-31 to Clemson last week. Clemson, they're in the dance. Their losses to BYU. BYU had a chance to go dancing. Both 3-point losses. So I don't know. Again, they should be out-meted in the front line by Penn State. And these games are happening at Notre Dame and Penn State's home stadiums, which that should matter, especially in games of these magnitudes. Penn State is a bigger favorite than Notre Dame. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Penn State's got a little choke to them. Sorry, Penn State fans. But this should be the test for them. winner of this game, and maybe this is where my bias is coming in, goes on and plays Boise State, I'm pretty sure, which if you'll remember, I placed a Boise State future on, and I'm just looking for a cash out option because it's 25 to win $2,500. So I think if Boise wins their next game, I'll get a good cash out option. We will see. Clemson plays Texas. How's your orange? If you're a quarterback person, Cade Klubnik versus Quinn Ewers, and do we see Arch Manning? We will see how it goes for Texas. Really interesting in an age of quarterbacks, and it feels like each draft has 4 quarterbacks, and we're excited about this guy. The college football playoff quarterbacks, not a ton of pro potential. There was a graphic I tweeted, or I didn't tweet. I sent it to my friends of a tweet, and it was just someone who ranked the top 12 quarterbacks, and they were like, oh, my God. And I think that list might have had Cade Klubnik too. So we'll see. Dual threat guy, Dabo, back in the big scene. Everyone said Clemson was screwing this up and that they're staying out of the transfer portal. They're doing it all wrong. Well, they draw Texas, which could end up being tough for them because Texas's 2 losses are to Georgia, the last one being 22-19. I think Texas is really good, and I don't think Clemson is. And, hey, Quinn Ewers was supposed to have QB stock, but he has had a couple ugly ones recently, and he could get benched. Texas, a 12-point favorite. And I think for a reason. I think Texas rolls pretty good there. And then the fun one at night, 8 p.m., Tennessee, Ohio State. Feels like these teams are built for each other this year. Tennessee's really strong on the lines. Like, oh, my God. They have a freshman quarterback, Nico Maliava. I think I said it wrong. I think I might have left out a syllable even. There's been times where their offense is futile. Their losses this year at Arkansas, which is one of those head-scratchers, but it's still like an SEC head-scratcher. And they lost to Georgia. So there's not a ton of shame in that game, although Arkansas, whatever. But, man, they've got good running back. They've got good running back. They got good wide receivers. And they have it on the lines and such a strong defense. Ohio State. We all know Ohio State. Their loss to Oregon was one of the more fun games this year. And if they win, might have BBD, someone dig up the clip. I said after they played, if we could somehow get this again in the college football playoff, it would be electric. So, coming off their loss to Michigan, where their senior class never beat Michigan, and this Michigan team was unranked. This is, if they lose this game, Ryan Day is fired. It's over. What is going on? They should win this game. It's in the big house. They are more than a touchdown favorite, 7.5. I don't know about that because Tennessee can really bully a la Michigan a little bit. Probably with more skill. So that is the premier matchup. I would get ready to watch that one at 8 p.m. I hope SMU Penn State's not a dud, and that's not for my sports gambling ticket. And I don't think it will be. I think SMU will have a couple tricks up their sleeve. Texas, it might not be. But that's a college football Saturday to get excited for as we start daydreaming about what this college football playoff format looks like. And we get ready for like the New Year's Day Bowls. As those will be waiting for them. And New Year's Eve, Boise State, I see you. So let's see what happens then, and that'll lead us into the NFL weekend, which we are at a funky part of the NFL season where teams are starting to die. Talked about some of the backup quarterbacks that are getting into games. It's that time of year, but not in the AFC West. Thursday night, Amazon Prime, Broncos-Chargers. This game has to have a fantastic make the playoffs if they win percentage and make the playoffs if they lose percentage. Broncos are 9-5. In LA, the Bo Nix experience got a little fuzzy last week. It felt like the Colts really handed them one with Jonathan Taylor fumbling and then the horrific trick play following that. let's see what the Chargers have up their sleeves. Division game. Hey, if you're looking for one to take away, I think I might go the under in this game. Two divisional teams, the old Thursday night thing. Those are two like kind of real fake gambling things. I could see both teams struggling to score a little bit, and that's why they have the over-under at 41.5. Go Broncos. Again, I'm a little scared of Bo Nix still, but I'm letting them into my heart. You can miss that game, but watch it. It's tomorrow night. Sunday. Oh, contraire, mon frère. Welcome to the holidays. We've got Saturday NFL, people. Chiefs, Texans, 1 p.m. Saturday. Sorry, Penn State SMU. You can flip. The Chiefs, and we'll see if plain Patrick Mahomes is starting. He had a full practice. It seems like he is going. The 13-1 Chiefs against the 9-5 Texans. Chiefs, I mean, they're playing to try to keep home field at Arrowhead. Because if you see what the other, the Bills, God, they can play anywhere at any time. They're looking scary. But Arrowhead's always a scary place, especially with the bad man at quarterback, with the bad man at head coach, and just a tough place to play. We're kind of back on Texans watch. They're 9-5. They won back-to-back games against the Florida teams. They finish now Chiefs and Ravens. I don't know. For some reason, the Texans went from sexy to not sexy quick, and I don't know if that's was the injuries to in their wide receiver core during the year, although some of those guys are back. I'll be watching that one. I feel like I keep saying I love the Eagles for the Super Bowl. I used to like the Ravens for the Super Bowl. I keep ignoring the Chiefs that are 13-1, but it's just been so not pretty. Coming off a pretty win against the Bears. And then Steelers-Ravens, people. Clear Saturday. Get some light beers and some wings. Place bets. Make some weird parlays. Steelers-Ravens in Baltimore. Baltimore, a 6.5-point favorite. God, speaking of division games and hard hitting and all that stuff, I don't need to do that for you again. The Steelers won the first game 18-16. That was the Boswell game. Yeah, I mean, you've seen this game 1,000 times, even though some of the new players are different in it. But kind of must watch. 4:30 game on a Saturday. NFL. God, they find a way, don't they? So you might be 4 playoff teams on an NFL Saturday, along with 3 college football playoff games. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Clear the schedule. Sunday, Giants-Falcons, don't need to watch, but Michael Penix is in at quarterback. Let's see what the kid's got, huh? He was so fun to watch at Washington. They were a must-watch product last year. Kirky has been bad. Penix making his first NFL head start as the Falcons as an 8.5-point favorite. And that's more so because they're playing the 2-12 Giants. Yikes. Lions, Bears, kind of a no thank you. Let's see how the Lions bounce back. Everyone talking about their injuries. The Bears are on a bit of a losing spree of their own. Browns, Bengals, not really, huh? Titans, Colts, not really, huh? Rams, Jets, not really. If you want to see the old dog quarterbacks do it one more time, not really. Eagles, Commanders, sure. Let's see if Jaden Daniels in Washington has an answer for the Eagles. They feel like they are full tilt rolling right now after beating down the Steelers. It's in Washington. Philly's only a 3.5-point favorite. That feels like a trap. If you've seen enough traps, I have these teams on 2 different levels, even for how much I like Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. That'll be a fun watch. Cardinals, Panthers, not really. Cardinals trying to get to 8-7. Panthers dying. So your 1 p.m. slate, you might want some Eagles, Commanders. Otherwise, again, maybe use your free time on Saturday. Recover. At 4 p.m., Vikings, Seahawks. That'll be fun. Why not? Let's see. The Vikings are 12-2. 12-2. That's insane. That's insane. The Seahawks, coming off that loss to the Packers where they really got beat up and down the field, what kind of bounce back do they have against the Vikings that have just been winning, commanding wins? Bills, Patriots, nope. Bills, 14-point favorites. New England, a lot of rumblings what's going on there. New coach, we kind of like Drake May, still missing a lot of talent elsewhere. Fun to see in the offseason. Jaguars, Raiders, absolutely not. Maybe important for Giants fans. If the Raiders can sneak one out, Giants could kind of ensure that one pick. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Niners, Dolphins, kind of in the disappointing bowl. 6-8 and 6-8. The two wonderkin coaches might be a good product, but it's kind of surprising you don't need to watch this one during Week 16 of the NFL season. And at night, Bucks, Cowboys, how about them? Bucks, 4-point favorites in Jerry's world. I don't know. Bucks are kind of good and fun. They're a fun team to watch if they can win that game. This is another good playoff odds game probably. Packers Saints Monday night. Big for fantasy football implications. I don't know how good of a watch it'll be. So, loaded football weekend. I will be watching a ton of it. We'll see what news we get on the baseball front and who's doing it. And then, if there's anything juicy, we'll get it to you. Otherwise, enjoy the weekend. Beebs, tell them about Uncle Dan, I suppose.
Talkin Jake is a production of Dan Patrick Productions, John Boy Media, and Workhouse Media.
Dang.